Hello, how are you? Good morning. We are on a roll with time, right, boys and girls? We've been learning about different ways of telling time. And today I'm going to teach you a different concept. And this is called counting on and counting back. So, counting on means that the clock is moving forward, time is passing, and counting back, that means that time before whatever hour you're talking about. So, if you're, for example, I'm going to get my clock out. If we are at 11 o'clock, hey, by the way, did you catch that Miss Martinez being silly on the other video? She kept saying, it's 11:30, but you know what? It was 10:30. Oh, Miss Martinez, silly Billy. Now, remember, when I make mistakes, I'm so sorry. I'm just going to make sure that you know I know how to tell time. Okay? So, last video, I was saying it is 11:30. That's 11:30 right there. And of course, 10:30 would be like this. Okay, boys and girls? So I just wanted to make sure I corrected that. And so when we're talking about time, if it is 11 o'clock, like this, right? Little hands on the 11, and the big hand is on the 12, that is 11 o'clock. But now, boys and girls, we're going to talk about a concept, like I said, counting on. So, on means you're going forward. So, for example, if you are getting up in the morning and it is, let me go ahead and keep going round and round. Remember, every time that the minute hand goes around the clock, it's 60 minutes. So I'm going to stop at, let's say 8 o'clock in the morning. You're awake, right? And you wake up and you stretch, you walk into the living room, and then an hour later, right? You count on 1 hour. What time will it be? 1 hour. It will be 9 o'clock. Your tummy starts grumbling. You're like, I'm hungry. Well, that's because an hour has passed and now your tummy's hungry after you watched a little bit of TV and then you started noticing, hey, I'm ready for breakfast, right? That's because it went around the clock, the minute hand, one time on to 1 hour passed, it went on, it went forward to 10 o'clock, right? Then maybe you're starting your lessons. So it just depends. Now, when you're counting back, when you're counting back means that what did you do before that time? So let's go ahead and put 8 o'clock right here again. You're waking up. What were you doing before 8 o'clock? Well, you were sleeping, right? You were sleeping. And so you're counting back means 1 hour before the 8 o'clock was 7. So counting back means what were you doing before that hour that we're looking at? All right. So again, let me give you an example. So 9 o'clock, you're eating breakfast maybe, right? And then you're counting on 2 hours, let's say 2 hours, and it's 11 o'clock. See that? And then 2 hours on, you're counting on, you're moving forward, time is passing. What are you going to do? I don't know. Let's see. So it's 11 o'clock then. So we're going to count 2 more hours. So 11, there's 1 hour went by. And what time is it there? 12 o'clock. That's only 1 hour. Now we're going to go all the way around again. That's 2 hours that went on, right? So now it's 1 o'clock. It was 11 o'clock. Now it's 1 o'clock. What are you doing at 11 o'clock, right? But if we're talking again about counting back, let's say that is 12 o'clock, right? So going back 2 hours is like this. Counterclockwise means you're going the opposite way. So when you're counting down from 12 to 11, that was one time. And then again is 10, that's 2 hours back. So what were you doing before 12 o'clock? 2 hours before 12 o'clock, it was 10, right? And maybe you were watching TV or doing your work. All right, so we're going to talk about more. We're going to talk about it more, and I'll show you it on your paper. So make sure you do have your paper that says 10.9, and we'll go over some events and activities, and I'll read you a little story, okay? All short stories, actually. They're called just word problems, and we're going to work on it with our clocks and on our paper, all right? So I'll go ahead and put this on again. I'm going to share so you could see the paper clearly, what we're talking about. And here we go. So it's going to take just a little bit, please. And we should be on in a second. All righty. So here we go. Boom. So this is the paper that you should have in front of you. So it is 10.9. Do you see that at the top? 10.9. And it says count on and count back. Got it? All right. So we're going to go ahead and read the directions because we always read the directions together, right? So it says fill in the missing hour. Draw the hour and or write the number. So you need to write the number or you have to draw the hand on the clock, depending on what's missing. We're going to go over this slowly. All right, so take your paper, and it says, you could see that there's the little red clock. These are analog clocks. You have the red clock, you have the brown clock that kind of looks like a house, and then you have the round purple analog clock. Do you see that? Okay, good. So the first red clock kind of looks like a Mickey Mouse clock. It has the ears. What time does that say, boys and girls? 4 o'clock. You're right, because the little hand is the hour hand. It's pointing to the 4. The big hand is pointing to the 12. So it's 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. So that's 4 o'clock. Then the little house one, it's the same thing except the little hand, the hour hand is now pointing to the 5. 5 o'clock. So the red clock again, boys and girls. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. So an hour later, if you're going to count on, right? What time is it? What would you draw, right? If you're going to draw the hour hand, where would you draw it pointing to? Would you draw it to the 3? No, because we're counting on, right? So again, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and one more hour is 6 o'clock. Good, so you're gonna draw it and you're going to not let it touch the 6, but you're going to draw it just like that. Now remember, if you're getting frustrated drawing the arrow, don't worry about it. You're just gonna draw a line, okay? So now let's go on to row number 2. You see the number 2? That row right there is talking about digital time, okay? So digital time, not analog. So we're talking about the hour that comes before 2, before 2. So let's see, I'm gonna pick up my clock and I'm gonna put my time on my analog. I know it's gonna be different because that's the digital time, but I'll match it to say 2 o'clock on my analog. I'm gonna be right here. There you go. That's 2 o'clock, which is the time in the middle. And then next to it says 3, right? So 3, I'm gonna put 3 o'clock right here. Okay, so there's 3 o'clock. Now we're gonna go back, okay? We're gonna go backwards. We're gonna say 3 o'clock, and then an hour before 3 is 2 o'clock, which is the one right there. It says 2.00. So then if I go back 1 more hour, what time is it? 1 o'clock. You see that? Very good. So then here you're going to write just a 1 straight down, 1 o'clock, because it already has the dots and it already has the 2 zeros. So it is 1 o'clock. Did you get it? Yay, you got it. Great job. So now the number 3, row number 3 is the same thing they're asking you for. They're asking you for where is the hour hand going to be drawn towards? What is it going to be pointing? Well, this one's a little bit tricky because this missing hand, the clock is missing a hand that is in the middle. So we're going to start, let's say, with the 12. The 12 is straight up, right? So 12, we got that one. And then the green one is actually, it says 2 o'clock. So what comes between in the clock, okay, 12, and then what is the next one that should be? Well, let's go 1 hour. 1 hour around, what is it? 1 o'clock. You see that? So it was 12, and then 12 to 1, and then 1 to 2. So we're going to draw our hand pointing to the 1. To the 1, okay? See that? Now we're going to go to row number 4, and it's digital time again. It says 7 o'clock, right? So 7 o'clock. What comes before 7? 6, right? So before 7 is 6. Watch. I'm going to put it to 7 o'clock. Here it is. 7 o'clock. We're going to turn it counterclockwise because we need to know what time is it before we're counting back, right? So before 7 o'clock is 6 o'clock. So you're writing a 6 down and make a ball, okay? Down and around and making a ball. And then we are now at 7 o'clock. The middle one is 7. And then what happens when you go around 1 time? It is what time? 8 o'clock. So now it's right, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and then 8 o'clock, like a snowman. Remember, don't get frustrated. Just the head and the body will be fine, all right? Okay, so then the next one is number 5, row number 5, and you have the analog time. So there, they want you to draw 2 hour hands, one on the blue clock, right? And one on the purple, right? Or the pinkish colored clock. And the brown clock already has the hour. So we're starting at 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and they want you to count back, right? They want you to count back because there's 2 clocks before 10 o'clock that you need to know what it is. So we're starting at 10 o'clock. You're going to go counterclockwise back. What time is it? 9 o'clock. So then this one would be pointing to 9. And then you go around again counterclockwise. And you see what the time is before 9 o'clock. What is it? 8 o'clock, right? Okay, very good. So now you're pointing to 8 o'clock. Very good. You got it? Yay, you did it. If you don't understand this page again, you can just go ahead and play it back. Okay, boys and girls, but I know you have it. So there we go. There's the first page. We're finished with the first page. Now we're going to flip it, flippity floppity. And now I'm going to see where that is here. Let's see. There it is. And we're going to enlarge it. And there it goes. It says draw the hour hand, right? Draw the hour hand. Now I'm going to read you a little story that goes along with this. And it's a cute little story, so you could draw your hands as you hear the story. We can draw that together. So it says to count on 1 hour. Count on, see? On. You see the word on right there? Okay, that means you're going to count forward. So let me read the stories to you that go with each of these problems. Number 1, Arianna is allowed 1 hour of video game time on Saturdays. So you see Arianna right there at the top? That's Arianna. She started playing her video game at 9 o'clock. You see the 9 o'clock, you see behind Arianna is 9 o'clock, right? It's right here, 9 o'clock. And then she said, when Arianna's video game time was, it says, she started playing her video at 9 a.m. When is Arianna's video game time over? You have to draw what time it is. If her mommy gave her only 1 hour time to play her videos and 1 hour passed, then what time will it be? You need to draw it on this clock. So it is 9 o'clock. Let's put our clocks on 9 o'clock. There it is, 9 o'clock, just like the one that's right behind Arianna. And then 1 hour passed, boys and girls. So that means 60 minutes has passed. Remember, you go all the way around the clock. So what time will it be an hour after 9 o'clock when you're counting on? It's 10 o'clock, right? So it was 9, but she played 1 hour, and now it is 10 o'clock. Good job. Did you get it? Very good. Now we're going to go to number 2. It says count on 2 hours. So you're not just going to count on 1 hour. You're going to have it go around the face of the clock 2 entire times, right? 60 minutes and then 60 minutes again. But you have to start, right? And you're counting actually back because it does say back. So you're counting, oh wait, the number 2 is on, so we're going forward. So we're doing 3 o'clock, so I'm going to put it on 3. So I'm moving my clock to 3 o'clock because look here, the little boy and the little girl is in the car. Do you see that? So let me read that story. It says, Kevin and Lee are going to visit their grandparents. Their grandparents live 2 hours away. Kevin and Lee's family left home at 3 o'clock. Remember, we have 3. What time will the family arrive to the grandparents' home? So we're on 3 o'clock. Takes 2 hours to get to the grandparents' house. So ready? You're going to go around the clock 1 time. That's only 1 time. You have to do it 2 times because it's 2 hours. And count on another time. That's 2. Okay, what time is it? 5 o'clock. Did you get that? I hope you did, because if you count 2 hours, count on 2 hours, you say 3, 4, 5. So did you guys get that? 5. So you're going to draw the hand to the number 5. Remember, it's a shorthand because it's an hour hand, so it doesn't touch the 5. Now let's go to number 3. Did you guys get that? Okay. Now we're going to go to number 3. Oh, look, the dad is having fun playing airplane with the daughter. Do you see that? So cute. Now we're going to go ahead and read number 3. Tiana and her father finished playing at 11. Let's go ahead and set our clocks to 11 o'clock. So I'm going around and round until I get to 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock. Okay. And then, which is now you're going to have to count back. because now we're talking about this time, okay? The other problems we were talking about the hours that were here. Now we're counting back. But they were saying that Tiana and her father finished playing at 11. They played for 1 hour. What time did Tiana and her father start playing? So that means you're going to turn the clock counterclockwise because you want to know what happened and what time did they start playing. An hour before 11. So let's go counterclockwise. There's 11. Counterclockwise means you're going the opposite way, not towards the 1, towards the 11. So we're going to go all the way 1 time. Okay, and there it is. What time did they start? They started at 10 o'clock, right? Because they said they stopped playing at 11 and they started playing 1 hour before. So they played for a whole hour. What time is that? What time does that mean that they started? At 10 o'clock, right? Because 1 hour before 11 is 10. All right, so we're going to draw a small shorthand to the 10, and that's the hour hand to the 10, and the minute hand is still touching, or it's pointing towards the 12 o'clock. So it was 10 o'clock when they started, and they finished at 11 o'clock playing. Fun. Now let's go to number 4. It says count back 2 hours. So we're going to look at this clock again. It is 10 o'clock. Let's put it is already 10. Good, we don't need to move it. And the last story is, it says, Arab's family went to the park at 10 o'clock. We have it at 10. Arab had woken up 2 hours earlier. What time did Arab wake up? So now we're going to count back 2 hours from 10 o'clock. Remember, you see that? They were at the park and they were having fun, right? And it said that where was he 2 hours before? So 2 hours, we're going to go back. Here's 1 hour is 9 o'clock. And then you go back another hour, another 60 minutes, and it is what time? 8 o'clock. You see that? So then 2 hours before 10 o'clock is 8 o'clock, right? If you're counting down, remember we count down 10, 9, 8. So if you were counting down from 10 and going back, you're going to be at 8 o'clock. Okay, got it? All right. So if you have any questions, if you didn't understand, you can always call me or you can ask your mom and daddy. But anything you need help with, you can also play the video back and review this lesson. So remember, counting on means the time is passing, like 12 o'clock is now, if you're counting on, is now 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. If you're counting back, that means what hour came before the time you're at right now. So if you're at 1 o'clock, the time was 12 o'clock before. If you were at 2 o'clock, what comes before 2? 1 o'clock. You're counting back, you're counting on. All right, boys and girls, I hope you like this lesson and the paper. Keep working hard. And like I said, if it was a little bit challenging for you, it's okay. You could just look at this paper again carefully and or call me. All right, I will be more than happy to help you. All right, see you soon. I love you, and go get some food or a snack. All right. Okay, bye.